I'm flying high above the sky. I don't care, it will be fine. Don't you know it's done for you, light in your eyes. Totally a guide, don't you see? Don't you know it was done for you, totally a guide, don't you see, don't you see, don't you see?
Bro, I fucking still love that intro. Every time I see it, I'm like, cherishing moment. This is great, man. So, like, good job on that again. Like, I can watch it a
Thank you,
billion
man.
times.
It makes me cheese too, man, you know, because it was just awesome to meet you guys. And hey, it's Friday again. Here we are. Episode, is this 50?
It's 50. Yeah, we're coming up on the year mark. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we go from the beginning where we're like, I'm gonna have these planned super episodes and all this stuff. Now we're like talking 5 minutes before the show now.
Yeah.
But no, going back to the intro thing, I feel like I'm gonna be that chick that all year long she take that one beach photo, and the rest of the year I'll be like, take me back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's gonna be like me trying to run back with my butt cheek out. But yeah.
Hey, it was an awesome time just to meet you guys, and man, you know, I missed going to Slamology the past 2 years, and it was an amazing experience just in general, and then just seeing you guys and us actually meeting was the pinnacle, definitely, man. It was awesome.
Oh, for sure, man. And that's that's what we got down to. Let's see. But yeah, taking everyone I want to take in, obviously taking wish Casey a birthday this weekend. He's turning the big 30 dirty 30, you know what I mean? But taking so he'll be leaving it shortly, but he wanted to join in before they're going out to dinner.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. Big 3-0. You feel old yet?
Yeah,
I felt old fucking 6 years ago. Yeah. The check needs light came on and never went off.
Yeah. Like Danger Will Robinson, you were saying earlier.
Yeah, Danger Will Robinson. We took my X-Max out earlier. I was like, Scott, dude, come check this out. It's like this big-ass RC monster truck, basically. And I put a big brushless system on it. It's running on 4S. So it's like 20-something volts. And it does like standing backflips. And I took it down the cul-de-sac, like down the road, and it was coming towards us. That shit's intimidating, dude. The tires like balloon out because they're moving so fast, and it's going like 50, 60 towards you.
Oh, it's insane. You took
That is
control of
fast.
it, though. Yeah. We're taking Mullen said he's going to the XS Power Show, so that'll be sick. I'll be happy to see you there, man. We have a Southern Thunder vendor booth there. We'll have Casey's truck in it, and among a few other people, it's going to be sick. And then go from there. And yes, Bob, I did get you a battery. I was happy that I was able and it was available was the biggest thing. Because again, come to find out, it was an odd size battery for your truck, but we had one. We get our hands on, and boom, we got it to you.
So they got pretty much, I don't mean to interrupt you, but they got pretty much every size for each vehicle, just like they do with their standard AGM for the Titan series?
Yeah, and that's one thing too, when you as far as like the dealer side, where you get confused, like, I don't know which one's which or whatever I need to buy. So it's actually really, a lot of them are the same battery, just different case sizes. Okay, now don't get me wrong, when you get into the bigger ones, you get into some like larger capacities, but generally speaking, a lot of the smaller case of batteries, they're all just different. It's the same battery, same output, same ratings, it's just different case.
That makes sense, because you want it to be flush, you want that OEM finish look, you don't want to be doing all kind of extra
terminals in
work.
the right location, or they sunk in on the car, stuff like that, all kinds of stuff.
I learned the hard way. I tried fitting a Group 31 under my hood when I take an R34. Hey, it worked, but you know what? It wasn't stock by any means.
Oh yeah, dude. Custom doesn't fit in the box. I had multiple CRX that because like the batteries in the front and EF. And Casey, you've had that too. Like if you're like borrowing a battery or throwing a battery in the hood of a CRX or like an EF Civic or hatchback, you better be careful because like you'll be grounding that puppy out on the hood.
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the first thing that happened. I was driving the car and I hit a bump and the car just shut off and I'm like, what the heck happened? And I popped the hood and I'm like, oh, that arced right there. Maybe we need to make that fit a little bit better. I've done it all. That's the thing, trying to get by with the bare minimum, trying different things, and that's how you learn the wrong way, but you still learn. And I'm just happy I don't have to go back to those days.
That's scary, dude.
You're telling me, man.
Last week, bro, I'm glad that you guys held the fort down with it without me. I rewatched that, or I caught in the last end of it, but rewatched
That
the
was a
next
great
day. You guys
episode.
did great. I didn't know it was going to take that long at that event for what I was doing, but it ended up being a good time.
We made it happen, Scott. Blake's an awesome guy, and happy to fill your shoes, man.
Oh, it was sick, y'all. I mean, like I said, y'all guys did fantastic. It was a good episode. And,
Heck yeah.
and Blake, and y'all, like I said, y'all had some good knowledgeable conversation. It was pretty cool.
Speaking of where you were that weekend, how was that? And I heard you went somewhere special Tuesday via the internet.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really have anything to talk about it. So, like, was it the week before last night? Or I guess it was just last week. Yeah, it just feels like it's been blurring together in time now. But yeah, I did that Skills USA event where it was a national competition of teaching children car audio. And then there's a competition like the day before the last of it, which is pretty sick, which are people going from a state champion level to a national thing to compete. And out of there's like 217 different job titles there and for Expo and the competition. And, mobile electronics was one of them. We found out a good buddy of mine now, Chris Jack, had been doing the program for like 15 years. And like the last 6 of it with like little to no help. And I found that out through Aaron, when they took it posted up online and got linked up with him. And it was sick. And then they were going to grow the crap out of it. But yeah, that's what I was doing last week was the award ceremony, which was awesome. And those guys, it was pretty sick.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I would have known of things kind of like that. But I mean, even being in the Pittsburgh area, I'm not sure how many of those kind of things they have going on. Because what you got going on down there seems pretty, not niche, but, car audio, like installer text kind of stuff. And I kind of wish I knew about that stuff when I was their age. Because I probably would have been really intrigued in that.
Believe it or not, it's national, dude. So, I mean, like, there's literally kids from all over the U.S. But in most of, like, your, trade classes in school now, like, they have access to Skills USA. They just have to be somebody coming from your school to that event, and then have them sign on for it. Like there's like 17, like from the course we did this year, which we're going to grow the crap out of it. Nick, kicker is literally 4 times pretty much what they brought this year, next year.
Wow.
And then I got Sundown to sign on, and then probably, which I get is already, all I have to do is show us on the paper, but XF Power. It's going to be sick because I mean they're family guys too. But 17 more schools signed on for mobile electronics that week.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like out of, there was like 20 kids or something like that this time. There were 17 more schools to sign on, which they could have, multiple people come from a national level, which is pretty awesome too.
That's awesome. Then to hear it grow, man. That's so cool, dude.
I
Really
wish
sick.
I had that when I was in school, so I didn't fuck up so many cars.
Yeah. Well, the thing too. Oh yeah. Well, okay. So Casey, that guy Chris Jack, the buddy of mine, he wrote a bunch of the material for the MECP program. He's
nice.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Like he is like old school, bro. He's talking like
cool.
crazy old school guy. Yeah, the skill stuff was cool. I did it in high school for construction, and we did a playhouse build off of different states built versus each other, and they were for schools and churches and shit like that. And it was like the coolest fucking thing I did when I was in high school. And then obviously I'm not in construction anymore, but mobile electronics, when I found out they have that program now, we're like, F yeah, dude, sign me up, bro. Like, yeah. So,
That's
don't get me
awesome.
wrong, it was a hard balance of running a car audio distribution company and doing the whole week of doing that. So I was like doing sales early in the morning or at night for the whole week. But hey, it made it work, dude. It was worth
I don't
it.
know how you do anything else, man. Being a distributor in itself is more than a full-time job, and taking anything else on is just, it's awesome.
Definitely worth it though, man.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Speaking of that,
Mhm.
got to talk about that on the Unmasked show. I saw you. You didn't even tell me, Like, hey, Andy, I want to be on the Unmasked show. Like,
Yeah, he
I
didn't
just
say
find out.
anything, man.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you. No, come on. I
Actually,
told you.
Byron hit me up and he was like, "Hey, are you gonna catch Unmasked? Scott's gonna be on there." I was like, "What?" And like,
What?
in the other room.
Well, I mean, I only found out the day before, really. I mean, let's be realistic. Yeah. I'm sure you probably had intentions. Yeah, dude, me and Aaron Million came in. He came into town for the skills event. I hung out with him for a couple days, and we came buddy. It was sick. It was me, him, and Chris Jack walking around downtown Atlanta in circles. All right, so one thing we didn't think about was all right, we're gonna get food here in Atlanta, guys. We're gonna walk somewhere close. We didn't think about the 2,000 something other kids that were there to get. They're staying in the hotels right there at the freaking place, and where the expo is at. So it was literally just flooded every small restaurant, just packed to the door with people. We just walked around Atlanta for a hot minute and found something. But it was a good time though, still, yeah. So Aaron asked me to come on, kick her up fast. And
It's awesome,
it was
man.
super
It's
awesome, dude. Yeah, like I said, I was getting excited when I was on the show. I was like, getting jibber jaw, but it was awesome. Yeah, we got to talk about it.
It's tough.
All right,
I don't know why. It's like, it's a very
All right,
laid back show too, where they're very accepting. It's not like they're judging people or some kind of podcast that it's, you got to watch what you say, but I think it's out of respect, of just kicker of who they are and being in front of more people than what do we got, 20, 25 usually on a night. It's a little different.
Oh, sure. And that's the thing, too. I was just like, Scott, do not curse. Do not curse. Yes. Whatever you do, think about what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like putting one of those ground isolator loops on your car. It's like you get rid of that, but then you have no sound coming out, It's
Andy,
just like...
Scott, Andy, if I could get your attention for 2 seconds.
Oh.
All right, Rod's here. Got to go. But it's a pleasure, guys. See y'all next week, I guess.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Casey, happy birthday. He's out of here.
Be safe tonight. And then there was 2.
But, heck yeah.
No, yeah,
man,
you
it was
did good, man. You did really good. I was surprised they didn't have you on like the whole time. I was like, oh, come on, Scott can talk. It was a good
I
show.
didn't want it to be just about me either, though, bro. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then, did you see that new kicker amp video they dropped, though, for the 400 or whatever it was?
No.
I thought I was talking to Mr. Living Loud.
I know. Sorry, I've been slacking, man. It's been insane, really. To keep up with everything and do everything that you're doing. I'm behind on my videos, but not too bad. I have some things I'm probably gonna pile together tonight. The Walmart build is ready, but it's like I've been doing on the Walmart build, working on the pilot, taking over the business while my parents down Florida. It's just been insane, and then doing all this other stuff we do, and it's just. I missed it. Sorry. Now this amp you're talking about. Tell me more about it.
Oh no, it's just another Kicker 4 channel that Aaron did a video on where he's explaining the details on it.
Oh, you know what? They're shorts. I do see those. I like how they do those. And they keep it current too, because there's a lot of stuff they already have on there. But it's nice to have more on their current products and just in general. It's awesome.
And speaking of that, so at the skills event, the adults had to install a 4-channel amplifier. With 4 speakers to it, and so they brought us refurbished Kicker CX 400.4s.
Nice.
And sorry, but dude, so the first kid, I'm not gonna lie, so the first adult that did it, he was like, "What should I set the gain to?" And I just kind of like went and set it halfway for him. Like, "Oh, this be fine." Dude, that kid fired that radio up, and they were like some MTX 3-way coaxials from like probably a decade ago. Dude, they had those things blasting, son. I was like, Jesus, Murphy, turn it down real quick, bud. I was like, half gain was not appropriate for that installation, but that CX was giving those things the beans, dude. Which they're efficient, but
those kicker amps. I remember talking to one of the kicker amp guys, and it's just pretty much they have in a sense, their lowest gain is very low, so it takes less in a way for it to be loud. So the gain doesn't need to be cranked all the way up. Plus, they can take high pre-out voltage, and that's kind of where they count for too. You can send 40. I mean, it depends what series amps it is.
You got Rob guy.
Oh, look at this guy.
Camera's right here, buddy.
What's up, Andy?
Yo. How you been,
brought me
man?
a power supply so I can take and start playing with some stuff on the.
Yeah, right here. Your power. 8 gauge.
Yeah. Shit, I'll crank 4 gauge adapter in that bad boy.
Yeah, you can, and it's 14.1.
Oh
sick.
wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna I'm gonna try using that battery that laying around one and put an ultra cap with it and see if I can take it and turn some amps on with it.
Oh, that
Hell
thing
yeah.
They play amp. I played 400.1, 400.150.
I'm sorry, my dog's barking, guys.
Barking at my wife.
That's no big deal.
So you're gonna be doing some amp dynos finally?
I don't necessarily. Okay, so the main point of the test bench is going to be I have to verify amplifiers also before I send them in for RMA. So I can't just take and be like, "Hey guys, I'm sending you this box of amplifiers. You're paying for shipping," and go from there. Because then they have to do more labor when they come in. So part of me as a distributor is verifying these amps are going to be bad. But yes, also I have an AMM one, and I'll be hooking a radio up to it. So it's like,
might as well.
Have to, yeah, exactly. So I mean, why not? Hell yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
Appreciate it. You guys be safe. I'm glad you guys came up.
And I'll send the RCAs downstairs, so we'll get
Oh, I got you, bro. Yeah, yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
I know. I almost
good.
want to
You
get
too, bud.
another power supply, just to have it, because it's nice to have, for like the garage. I got the boom box, it works, but I would like something that has more power that I can hook up bigger stuff in my garage and not mess with my amp dyno test area, which I haven't done an amp dyno in, God, 4 months. But I don't want to disturb it. You know, everything's good. You know, when you start moving things around, then it's like, I got to put this all back together just to shoot a video. And
I'm going to mount this directly to the test bench. Just going to be
there you go.
part of the bench, bro. Straight up.
Nice.
So I just take and flip the switch on it, boom, and then it's all going. I'm going to try to do. To be honest with you, too. So I have one thing is we built this test bench for a purpose also, because I was going to take and get those resistor banks and screw them to the bottom side of the thing if I wanted to run leads up and over, and I'll just tape it off the side and be like 8 ohm, 4 ohm, whatever, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then I can also hook up loads to it, to an amplifier.
Nice.
They're pretty cheap. As long as you stay low power, that is. You know what I mean?
Right. I know Vega gave me a few resistive loads to try. I want to build like a little, almost like a block, and to bolt them down so that they're all together and have I need to get one of those. I was looking at it last night. One of those terminal blocks that you can fit a bunch of spade terminals in, so you can have like easy wiring. You know what I mean? And for your impedance and stuff. And I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm just so used to those reactive loads, man.
Touche, but you do a good job of it, man, and it shows box rise and all that stuff too. So it's also a good realistic, thing.
Yeah.
The thing.
Right. Right.
I just want to play test tone and be like, here you go. But I think like I said, I think what would be good too is, like I said, I want to show I want to see if I play with the AMM1, again, do the test with the ultra cap and without the ultra cap would be sick too. But I don't have the same. I don't know, man. Like I'm just getting to where I got comfortable, like pausing the video and and adding them together or whatever, and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But I don't have any editing software for video, so I mean, like I can use DaVinci Resolve and all that stuff. But it's like I don't want to throw a lot of time into it. I just want to do like start, pause, and just do it. I'm doing it live, you know what I mean, pretty much. But
right, uncut.
I think I've talked about it with you before, though. It's like, you try to do it in one speech take, and then I'll get like 3/4 of the way from it and just blah, 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 and I'm like, oh my gosh. But some of those times, by the time I do the unboxing or I'm taking, or pause it to do something else, I've probably done it 3 or 4 times, but
Right. I know. I got to watch myself too. It's like, do they really want to listen to me ramble on? Nah, probably not. We'll save that for the patrons. Do my rambling there.
touche. Yeah, you should do like the Andy bloopers where you just kept the recording.
Oh, I have everything, sadly.
Oh, really?
But I don't have it compiled. I need to do that because there are some things that I do leave at the end. It's like blah blah blah. It's funny. It is nothing crazy, but you got to keep those.
Sure.
Oh man, I would throw them in the end, but then it messes with YouTube's algorithm and like the whole click here to see the next video and just how YouTube works. I mean,
well, it changes over time too, man. Like you'll see some dated videos where it's like click here or whatever, and it's like the text box across the different part of the screen or whatever, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, that was at a different time, I reckon.
Yeah, what the heck? What happened there? I know, that's weird. I've noticed that too. Oh man, so what else have you been up to since you've been back from your big old show down there? Anything going on this week other than this new test bench and stuff for RMAs?
Not really too much. I haven't done anything to the truck. I've just been giving it the beans. But it really just work. I had a new dealer sign on in South Georgia yesterday, which is pretty sick. And
nice.
So I mean, I spent the day driving on that one. But it's really I was going back and servicing all those dealers that I didn't get to take and have the personal touch with the week before, and just doing that grind, bro, trying to grow. And then also
awesome.
Today I bought in. We're taking time now. We're getting into dealer distribution going on with Spark Innovations. So I did my first stocking order with them. I ordered a whole bunch of accessories from those guys, and I'm pretty stoked. And we ordered some custom single-din switch panels that we're doing some custom color stuff going on, so it's going to be something different. I also got some limited edition relay boxes that are limited numbered ones, so everything we're getting is just not just the stuff you can go to your average dealer or retailer and get. So it's going to be pretty sick, kind of cool exclusive product that they can drop and be able to sell to people and make some cool deals on. And I'm
awesome.
Stoked, dude, wicked stoked, because they've been nothing but good to us, and
I love their products. They're so special. That's the best way to put it. They're special. They're custom for car audio enthusiasts. Just between everything from the Omi to the Fanny, I like their names too, and it just it's innovative stuff. It really is, you know, and it just it can be a little bit pricey, but it's better
it's for sure
than
worth it.
just buying some crap from eBay and hoping it fits, hoping it works. Who knows what kind of, you know, materials they're using, how much current you're running on, whatever, your relays, your switches, and it's just nice. And I think it's LAF can work with Sparked Innovations with their switches and stuff. You can get custom inserts for the Sparked Innovation switches, which is just sweet.
Oh yeah,
I was looking into their stuff. Yeah. Go
oh
ahead.
yeah, man. And I've been using their product for years now, man. And if anybody can testify that my dude Dan saw me give demos, I was like, dude, so like Dan, we're at Slam. I'm telling like 4 people to get out of my truck and let this thing cool off. Dan walks up. I'm like, fuck. All right, cool, get in, Dan. You know, whatever. I probably gave 100 demos back to back. Those 2 fannies kept my 12K good, bro.
It's awesome. It's
yeah.
awesome.
It's been sick. And yes, Mullen was at helmet. Yes, I broke my dash. I was going down the road. Okay, so like
I seen
have
that. I seen
my
that.
system, and that's not really like a good. It's actually really like a big part of it's broken, but my system's really set for playing DJ Ruskell's app. I'm just being straight up with you because that's like what I'm doing most of my playing on. It shows whatever. So Spotify is just a little saucy when I go to because like a higher like I guess recording level or like set level or whatever. And so there's one song like and I know like extra saucy. And I was playing it. Next thing I know, the whole dash is like crouched to the side. I'm like, shit. It even like ripped the vents out and stuff. You saw it or whatever. Like they just fell out on the floor. And I'm like, what the crap? I have it all pushed back together right now. It's just pushed up there. And I took the vents out, a bunch of stuff that was broken, and it's kind of just sitting there. But I haven't really based on it.
Damn. That's what happens when you play all that wasted information. Above 40 hertz, man, it will break your dash. It just rattles it apart.
Oh bro,
man.
yeah. It for sure it destroys it, but I'm gonna try to do a dash swap. I want to do a newer dash swap in it because like you can go all the way to 2016 in it, and if you use the same climate control and the gauge cluster, it doesn't do it. Whatever, Dan. It's because my truck's old as shit. You have like a decade newer, luxury vehicle, man. Like you have a luxury Nissan, and my truck's a 2000. Everyone forgets that it's got 250,000 miles on it.
Plus, Dan, he keeps it clean. That's the problem. He just keeps
Yeah.
it clean.
13s, but it keeps them clean or whatever. The 15s, it keeps them clean. Let's see. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. With the the dash has been breaking for a while. Just being straight up with you, I'm pretty sure the firewall's ripped, to be honest with you. Like, I'm pretty 99.9% of the firewall's ripped. So it doesn't really surprise me.
I mean, it happens with what we do, man. I know, like, I'm right below that threshold of before things really start to break. I watched my neighbor JR. I got him loud, bro. No joke. Step A to Z. And he was doing 53, 54s, 215s in a hatch on like 6K. And it literally just destroyed his car. Like the trunk, he went through 3 hatches. They kept breaking at the welds on the hinges. Literally had a weld on different hinges. And then just other crap was just falling apart. Taillight lenses coming out inside of the taillight, just things just rattling apart, breaking apart, and his window cracked eventually. It's not that loud, but it's loud enough, man. And I'm just kind of happy I'm not there yet. I don't have to deal with that yet.
I'm gonna just not pull the B pillar trim off of my truck so I can see if the welds are damaged. I'm just gonna keep that trim on it, and if I don't ever see that the welds are ripped on my B pillars, they're not ripped, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're getting to where they get pretty flexy. I know my right rear door sounds like it's open all the time now, and I haven't addressed that yet. I haven't seen if it's bent. I don't see if it's ripped, but it sounds like it's open all the time. As far as you can tell you have a door like closed but not latched all the way. You can hear like the road noise.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, did you notice on like lower notes? Because I noticed over time I would hear my sub, quote, unload a little bit easier than normal on lower notes with just whatever orientation I was running with because my car's stupid. And I think it's just my trunk starting to just get beat up from just going up and down.
I think it's the frame of the window and the back side is bent out. That's what I think.
Yeah. Damn.
But, I'm just going to send it. I'll just stack some more deadener inside there. I'll just keep packing it in the jam.
Question about deadener. I'm about to put some deadener in the Pilot. What kind do you suggest? 80 mil?
Sky high.
Sky high or what?
Sky High or Sundown. Honestly,
Okay.
and I'm trying to sales pitch it because the premium, as far as applying it,
Right.
it is the most bendable and like you can get into corners and joints with it. And then also if you're going to be using it for it's seen, which you're probably not, you're going to retrim yours.
Yep.
You take when you get in the jams and all that stuff, it doesn't rip. But
Okay.
and it's not like an aluminum backing the same. So like I didn't even got cut with it. My excursion, dude, I didn't even roll that shit inside my roof, bro. I stuck that up with my hand and I just kind of had a freaking thing of masking tape and I just kind of like ran the masking tape roll down it, and
Wow.
it didn't peel in Indiana heat during Slamology. You know what I mean?
I was
Like,
gonna say, like, does
the
it,
other brand I had in there, it had to be stapled up there because it would fall down constantly.
Wow.
Rolled, heated with blowtorch, whatever you want to do.
yeah,
gotta throw that on
I
solid
haven't
quickly.
used sound dampening since the Best Buy days, and I put the Dynamat in there, and it worked, but obviously I don't have those vehicles anymore, and with the Eclipse, I tried putting that cheap stuff in, and obviously that didn't turn out too well, but I don't really need it in my Eclipse. I don't have trunk
You've already
rattle, I
put
have
the
trunk
quad box in.
flap. Right, the quad box, it beats the crap out of that trunk, and it just doesn't sound good. Like, you
Well,
can
I'll tell
even
you
hear
what,
it
Are you
inside.
doing it right now or no? As far as putting deadener in right now?
As soon as possible. Honestly, I'm taking this whole car apart this weekend, but
Nice.
I can, keep. It's not that hard because I'm just going to do just the trunk. That's it. Just the hatch of the SUV. Not anything else for now. It's I just want because the roof. I don't really hear any roof flex, but it's kind of hard to hear it over the trunk flexing. So we'll run into that when we are. But I don't think it's that kind of system and that kind of vehicle. But that trunk just does not sound good. So I want to definitely put sound dampening in there, and then, like you said, put the plastic parts back in and go from there. I was just thinking, should I go with like 80 mil or thicker, or do you think it's just
Depending on what you're
overkill?
using it, man. Like depending on where you're putting it. And like I said, actually, I don't have it yet. I'm supposed to be getting like a big pallet of Sky High deadeners in the different thicknesses. I like, if you remember, I put the acoustic mat in my box. I like the acoustic mat. Put in your doors. You can't always put the 300 mil thickness everywhere. Especially if it's behind trim and stuff like that. So it depends on where it's at in your car, and then it depends on where you want to stack it up at. Like probably pack your doors up, back up the roof, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just more focused about the trunk, the doors and stuff. I'm not really too worried about yet. But I just know that is the root of it, and I'm gonna start with there since everything's torn apart. But yeah, absolutely, man. I just I know stuff, but it's like with that, it's like you said, some that you can just put on by hand. Some need a torch. Like I seen it from left to right, but it's like I kind of want to go not super budget because I want to get something that actually works. I don't
Sure.
want to put it in there and then it's still rattling really bad and it's acting like I put nothing in there. So I don't know.
I mean, I can't
Yeah.
talk smack. My doors are kind of light, but the rest of my truck is pretty dang solid.
Oh,
I
I
have
know
like
you-
3 layers in the front doors, but been in there a long time. But then like the back doors have like minimal. I also have a lot of like OEM Honda sound deadener that they put in quarter panels and stuff like that. Like my body shop buddy next door gives to me. The stuff's actually pretty solid. Like we put a stereo in his dad. If you don't remember on Facebook, that like '90s OBS square body, the red truck I helped redo or whatever, the red
Yeah.
one. That one we put the Sundown stuff in. We put a crap load of OEM Honda sound deadener in it, and I'm not gonna lie, dude, it was pretty dang solid. Like it was like
Wow.
a knock on the doors. It was like I was like, damn, it's like it'd be a lot of car audio sound deadener.
Yeah,
But they
I
use
feel
it to
like
take-
OEM products gotta be solid. They can't be cheap. They just
Yeah.
can't.
Don't get me wrong, it didn't look good at all. I mean, it did not look good at all, and it took in. It was hard to apply. It was hard to bend. You had to heat it with a heat gun to get it to bend over and lay and stuff like that. But when it was on there, which obviously had to like prep the panels, and there's like paint prep wipes you have to use correctly with it and all that stuff. But it did the job. It was just you had to know how to apply it properly too. If you just didn't clean the door panel, stuck it on there, it's gonna fall off. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, I know. I tried using that cheap roof and stuff one time, and I was
Well, I
like,
never did that.
it worked everywhere else except something that needed to be hung upside down, aka my hatch, and it just all came down. But the stuff on the in the wheel well and stuff, it was fine, and I'm sure it did its job. But I wasn't flexing down there. That wasn't the problem. And honestly, I even metered it with the sound dampening in there, and I actually lost like a whole dB. Like it was bad. My car at that time played a higher. It was like a normal base vehicle. I was tuned to 38. I peaked at 40, or I tuned to 38, or 30. No, yeah, I was tuned to 38, and I peaked at 39. But either way, 39, 40. a lot higher, and it just vibrated a lot. So I wanted to have sound dampening. With this new build that takes up the whole car, like Cookie Monster, as everyone knows, it doesn't really vibrate. You heard it. It's more of a slap. You ain't stopping that. Oh, look who decided to stop in today. I seen him commenting.
So my first experience was
All right, I gotta shut the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I gotta shut this off.
The 90s Dynamax.
What's up, dudes?
So, just like my dad tricked me into multiple things. He's like, "Hey,
Okay.
son, you don't learn how to put some sound deadener in?" I'm like, trying to eat up
Jesus.
everything I can in the shop. Yeah, pops, I
Come
want
on,
to
Tom.
learn. So it's pretty
I might
much
have to
like,
exit and come back.
Here you go, son. Here's a case of Dynamax.
My speaker's
you
not
know.
cooperating right now.
Oh, gotcha.
All
Sorry
right,
about
bud.
that, man.
On it.
We need RGA in here, though. He's full of knowledge.
Okay,
But,
clear.
Yeah, so it's pretty much
I might
my
have
dad-
to leave and come back. I have the
All right,
link,
buddy.
so let me figure the sound issue out. I'll come back. Okay.
Gotcha.
But so it's pretty much my dad sticking me in the Honda and being like, "Here you go, son, stick it all here," and like, "Here's a roller," and I'm like, "Thanks, pops." But,
That's awesome.
But
That's
believe it or
awesome.
not, that Dynamat that I put on in the '90s is still in that car and it's still stuck in there fine. Like it's not not an issue. It's like almost concrete now, but sure, it still works good.
Yeah, I can't even. I threw up this comment because I just purchased an NVX RCA bass knob with voltmeter for the Pilot. So maybe I should
Hey,
go
guys.
with NVX just to keep it the same. And I've heard good things from NVX, even their power wire to their amps. Things do rated, good stuff. So maybe I might take a look at that, Dan. I like having my options open.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad you brought this up, Vega. Obviously, yes, prepping the panel is
Yes.
a huge thing, big time. Cleaning the crap out of it. I'll even honestly I'm not even exaggerating. We'll get like a shop rag, wet it with some like dish soap on it, wipe the panel down really well on the inside, and then use like the paint prep. It's like a 3M. I am blessed and lucky that there is a body shop next door and they have the access to these appropriate stuff. But yeah, I'll get like the paint prep wipe and then wipe the panel down. But again, I tell people all the time, they're like, "Hey, I don't have a heat gun to apply this, this regular sound deadener. Lay that shit out in your driveway in the sun, dude. Get that thing piping hot and let it lay
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
more
Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah, and then install it and then roll it on."
I got a heat gun. I just don't got a torch. I see some people using torches on their stuff. So I don't.
A torch is a bit extreme. Blow dryer.
You have to know what you're doing with the propane torch, though. Like a small propane torch, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, a blow dryer works. Like you hijack your wife's 1500 water and just work it. It's like painting or doing any kind of body work. It's all in the prep. And
Right.
the more thought and the more time you take with it, like that's one of the reasons I'm so the antithesis of the perfect build is I've seen so much shit in all my years on this godforsaken rock. Like, yeah. I've seen guys, linear actuators. I was back there in the days when the acrylic was first starting to enter the scene. And like everybody's build, what I would like to see more of is like your guys is showing the love at Slamology, going around and appreciating the builds for what they are. And, just trying to get the maximum enjoyment out of what we're getting instead of getting caught up in all this shit that we're dealing with all the time with the brands and everything else.
I
Yep.
don't think, all reality, and it's not just us, though, man. I think as a general whole, there's just positivity at Slam and stuff like that. Those big shows, man. Like, you don't hear people walking around talking shit to people and stuff or whatever. I hear
It's on the
screaming.
internet. It's on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, always. And that's usually like when I started to realize that the internet was taking off,
Thank you, Vega.
I was like surprised at, the percept. It's kind of like media spin, like you guys getting together and us all talking. It doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, a noob, somebody just getting into this, we all share that passion. And one of the reasons I respect the hell out of you guys so much is, we've all been there and trying to get that out there. It doesn't matter if you've got a stripper pole or 6 sundown NSV 5s, what level are you going to be happy at? And that's the cultural shift from like back in the old days when everybody was keeping secrets and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
I
I'm happy with
heard
my
about
stuff
that.
until I drive it every day, or I take and if I drive it every day, it doesn't seem loud, or if I go sit in Casey or Joe's truck, it doesn't seem loud. Like the smack. Yeah, and I mean, again, I'll have to get the beans again another day. Just like we were talking about before, there is no, I'll come see you in a minute or whatever. I missed that opportunity. So we got smacked down by noise police at Slam when I was getting a Dan demo. And I was like, hey, let me get one real quick. And then obviously he fires it up within like 5 seconds. So like, shut it down. And so he's like, I'm going to go to the main lot, come get a demo or whatever. And we had just had the conversation like, yeah, there is no, I'll come see you later. I'll make my way back around or whatever. Like, you just don't have the time. And
Right.
so, yeah, I got a 5-second Dan Current demo. After I gave him, like, I drained my battery completely to give Dan Current the sauce. So, I mean, that bitch went to fucking 12.5 or 12.4 or whatever.
Woo!
Which is depleted in the LTO bank. But I didn't
Yeah.
What's funny is that at a show like that, like if you listen to a system like yours and then go to Andy's, that I used to say there's a thing called ear blindness. It's kind of like anytime you get used to something, man, if you hear the most extreme of extremes and you can't differentiate that from something lower, like you wind up with that ear blindness thing.
Yep.
So like it kind of detracts from that appreciation. Like if I listen to a single 18 and I step up to 6 18s, you know, it's a logarithmic scale. So like
Yeah.
by that time your fucking brains are already rattled. So
It's not
conversely,
Yeah. Your ears auto tune, you know, that's why they ring, and it's just you getting used to that loudness. Now, you can have the loudest build. I'm talking 160, 170, whatever. If you don't listen to bass for like 3 weeks and then you get into like a 140, 145 system, it's going to sound louder than it normally ever would with you listening to your system, just exactly like what you were pointing out. And that's what I try telling people that got in there at Slamology. You know, it's like, this ain't no crazy build, you know, ain't one of those, but it works, you know, for what
Yeah.
it is, you know.
I'm sure it's like
Dave?
Andy on the what's up, Dave? It was a quiet ride home from Slam, and then I didn't listen to bass really for like a week. The first time I like really bassed, I was at the tire shop getting wheels and tire. No, it was afterwards, so I had to get that replacement tire, and so I gave the shop a demo. That was the first time I bassed in like since Slam really, and
Damn.
it actually made my ears hurt the next day. I was like, damn, that thing was loud or whatever. But
Yep.
yeah.
are you getting the weird chest shit too now, Scott? Now that you're so windy, are you starting to get that weird pressurization in your head and your
Mine doesn't seem loud now. The only thing that seems like I like now is that it's like depending on the note, I can get the little nose trick going on. I want more nose. I want more nose.
nose hair flap?
Yeah. But so it'll get you blurry. But like if you play the right high note, you'll be like, oh, that's neat, you know, whatever. But
Try 65 hertz, man. You're gonna be like, ouch.
yeah, and that's what's funny too is like you know. I'm sure I needed to do a sweep last time I metered it. I didn't do a sweep. I just burped it at 40 hertz. But
When you do your tunes, do you do one of my tricks is to use PA tone when I'm like trying to get linear response, because all of us in the know actually know how the frequencies like to fucking get weird on us. I like to sweep from say 100 hertz down to like 20 or 15 depending on what implementation I'm doing for subs to get the maximum pressure and response, but linear, because I got out of that over EQing thing a long time ago. And what I like is that pressure that, you know, one of the most common questions I run into, like on the Vega groups I run, is what's chest thumping bass? What is this bass? What is that bass? And us guys that have played with bass for long enough know it's at a different frequency threshold with a different cue and a different slope. And if you want punch, you know, you got the PA stuff. The PA.
There's a few good reference materials on that. Boom, boom, boom.
What system gives you itchy back syndrome, or you feel it in your butt? You know, there's different bass lines, and yes, it does come down to the frequency. But I feel there's more factors than that. It's how the enclosure is built. It can be leaning one way, and it might do something a little bit better, and it's gonna give you a different response, like you're talking about. So
Depending on
if you want to get into it.
Chest thump is like 25 hertz, so it's like my system is perfect for 25 hertz to give you the chest thump. Okay,
Wait,
but no.
what is
So as far
this?
as tuning my system though, legitimately, I'm way easier than that. So I literally just hit up Derek Haddock. I was like, hey man, what voltage should I set my 12K at? He said 160 volts. I'm like, all right, sick. At sub level 0, it's at 160 hertz, and then 160 volts. And then I just do a low pass. I did a low pass that's 70 hertz at 24 dB. And it's fucking set, bro. I just use the gain knob after that, you know what I mean, for clipping.
I want to hear your shit, Scott. I want to hear Andy's Cookie Monster too, because that, like I said, that's the number one question that comes up. And since we know about tuning and frequency specificity, like when V13 come down, he was shocked because I used multiple tunings advantageously to, supplement. And that's not something I see as commonality, but I know it's coming. There's going to be people that are using multiple drivers, frequency tuned specifically with a good Q curve that overlaps, so that you don't have those You know what I'm saying?
No dips, you're trying to say?
Well, how to get your cake and eat it too.
When I was talking about a sweep, I meant a sweep for a peak SPL number. But I don't know, man. I like having the sound quality stuff. Obviously, I have nice imaging set up, and I have a good center point. But as far as the demo stuff, bro, like you don't even with my loud door setup, which like Dan's are way fucking louder than mine. But you don't even really pay attention to the fidelity of what the music sounds like when it's 150 plus dB. You know what I mean? It's just like I just want to hear what the song is, so I can tell what the beat going along with is. You know what I mean?
I'm coming to rock in a stupid place because a lot of us that have graduated now from car audio into home audio, trying to get the best of both worlds, or most of us have the same goal, and that's getting the best audio performance envelope we can, no matter where we're at. And some people are happy with their JBL Pulse or whatever, and some people are happy with 9.5 foot tall fucking speakers. But what I would like to see is a general consensus among all of us enthusiasts that say, this works. And to get rid of these snake oil salesmen that are constantly selling the bullshit to everybody that are just coming into audio, because we're being screwed by the entire industry at large in the first place.
Bobby B in here. What's up, buddy?
How is everyone jumping in here? Did I miss something, Scott?
I just kept throwing the thing in the chat. I said y'all are windy, Brad, dude. Your build's nasty. Like I tell a lot of people, like is there more efficient subwoofers and stuff like that out there? Yes. But like you throw a handful of them bad boys in a build, it's gonna be freaking nasty. Like y'all have a windy. I don't know if you've seen the father-son build they have. It's pretty sick.
I want to do a hair trick in my bedroom, Scott. That was my old goal. I want to do a hair trick in a house. I want to take, normally we comment and teach and
all right, no, Brad, you're good, man.
You probably could. Here, let me mute Bobby for a second. There you go. Thank you, Scott. He's out. You're out there really windy there, Bobby. You're too loud, bro. You're too loud. I was gonna say you could probably do it if your room was sealed enough, and then the window would be your 6th order tuned very low, and maybe like I don't know, just a bunch of sealed woofers loaded in one corner of your wall, just taking up all of it. And like I don't know, a lot of power, a lot of piston area. I'm sure you stick your head out that window at a certain note, it might do something if you tune it right.
So Bobo said, would it be retarded to run under bench subs in the back along with the under seat subs under the driver and passenger? I think, like for instance, I thought about doing a center console sub or something like that to accent my doors and stuff like that later. Maybe later, just to take it if I don't want to go full tilt with the subs or something. But my recommendation on that one, which I'll let you guys chime in after, is I would rather spend that money in a better investment of subwoofer and amplifier choice for the under for which we choose for the under seat. Especially in your I think I'm assuming your Silverado there, you get like a Gately box the seat lift, which I can get for you, but you can get a Gately box, throw some like full size 6.5s or 8s under there, and get way more output than you're going to be getting with like a shallow under seat setup and the under seats there. The
shallow is going to screw you for output because of the limited excursion of the geometry of the driver. So like that was the problem I had with my truck, being the 3-door that it is, was trying to get full bass. That's why I went transmission line, because it gave me a lot more options. I sacrificed some of my backseat space, but even a 6.5 would outperform a shallow mount 12 in a lot of cases if I use something like a Sundown or a Scar or something with long excursion to offset that differential displacement figure that the woofer puts out. So like when people think of woofer displacement, we have excursion now that we didn't have back in the 90s, which allows for more SPL, but more, you have the distortion figures to fuck with, but you can do a lot more now than we could 20 years ago. So you don't have to necessarily have, the 18 in your back seat and kind of cheat that bell curve.
Right. I think the main problem with adding the woofers underneath the seat with the ones you already have in the rear or vice versa, you're going to run into cancellation. Yep. face. And you're going to be, to make it sound right, you're going to be, and it's going to sound right one side of the vehicle, firing those other drivers to the side or something to eliminate that.
Balance as you go up and down, or
Well,
like
if
juggling
it's
those
ported,
down.
it's even worse because you throw a possible 90-degree in there, which is a real fuck with, especially with like trying to figure it out with VSD.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I think all of these guys in here can agree. Power is too damn cheap now, bro. Like I have, I sell big ass amplifiers, even like SFBs and stuff like that. And I try to ask these guys. I'll be like, hey, like how much for this 5K? How much is 8K? Cool, I'll happily sell it to you. Here's the price, blah blah blah. Do you have the electrical to support this? Like I'm not saying get stiffed on your warranty if you don't, but in the 90s, 2000, even the 2000s.
Well,
Dude.
I like you, Scott, because I can do more with 250 Class A V watts than most people can with Class D in the modern era if they don't know the fundamental science that goes into the actual builds in the first place. That's why I respect the hell out of you.
Oh,
Because,
well,
you sell these products, but you don't sell them to ignorant fucking noobs that don't know anything.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll tell them. Like, I'll still sell. I mean, it's costed me sales before when I'm telling them that they need to have supporting mods. But I mean, like, I'll still sell it to them. But I'm gonna like make it clear to you, like, hey, bro, like you have to have this, this, and this before you can power this. Like, I know you think you got a run or two of 1-aught in the back and your big 3 and you're good to go. But like, you can't just do that.
It's way more complicated.
Dave, what do you think about all this?
He's been quiet the whole time.
Mr. Koslick.
Oh, you don't have.
You're on the stage, sir.
He's not even
We
muted.
can't hear. We can't hear a word you're
Like
saying.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
can hear you.
All right. As far as the front stage subs,
Anything,
I
yeah.
think in SQ, they make a little bit of a difference when you're at that lower level, when you're not really trying to drive loud, when you're it's more of a feel. I think it's more noticeable at the lower levels, but I think it would definitely get lost. And as far as trying to do the sound, RGA kind of touched base on it. It's just trying to align that. You catch a cancellation and you're damaging yourself more than you're doing yourself any good. So yeah, I'd say if you're doing more of a sound quality, low level, just a very full sounding, low level build where
Good way to put it. Full sounding.
Yeah, if you're trying to fill
Sound
area,
density.
then I would
Yeah,
say
talk
yes.
about.
That's you could find some really good value in that, having that extra sound coming from other areas. But if you're going with loud, which it sounds like Baba is well on his way to just
Baba
He's
just
gonna be
wants
loud.
more.
he wants more. He's going. Baba's on his way on up. He's already stepped on the first 3 or 12 runs of that ladder, and he's just shooting on up that motherfucker. Don't put no subs under your front seat. No such shallow mounts. None of that bullshit.
I'll put them
Yes.
wherever they'll fit. Come on, where else can I put them?
Get some science
I'm
into
gonna
that
do-
enclosure, and whatever enclosure you've got right now, get the mathematics out, pull out the calculator, the compass, and start just. doing
I'm
all
gonna-
the math you
Bobby's
need to
bougie.
do.
Bobby's gonna have a
I'm gonna
gateway
do
box. in that
I'm gonna
truck.
do something here that my buddy Doug. Well, you're in my group, Koslick, so you know what's up. I'm gonna speak redneck as fluently as possible. Yeah, cone area is king, power is king as far as like overall SPL. But if you want quality and quantity of performance and sound density, having everything as simple as possible. The keep it simple, stupid attitude really does work, because oftentimes when you start implementing multiple drivers, multiple amps, multiple tunings and things like that, you wind up with those nulls. And nulls in acoustician speak are our enemy. You can EQ down a peak far easier than you can EQ up a null. And in a lot of cases, the nulls screw you, period. They create these fucking giant holes in the sound field that just ultimately screw you, and there's no way to accommodate for them.
No.
That's why things like panel resonance and like how the waves propagate through the cabin of the vehicle or the home or the fucking sound field of Terra Terra Tream really matter. Like, certain waves only do certain things, and you cannot cheat physics. You can't.
No. I know, like, it is easier to turn down just anything in audio than to boost. But, that's where you want to do is tune down where your vehicle peaks. You can make it sound more well-rounded.
Well,
the driver doesn't,
The power division benefits of that too, because when you try to elevate a given frequency, no matter what the Q curve, you're sending more power to that one area. Whereas when you're taking it down, that divides it out amongst the rest of the frequencies. So it's way more advantageous to do a cut than a boost. And that's something. Go ahead, Scott.
And I didn't mean to cut you off in there. I thought you were finished, but I don't really. I've never even RTA'd mine or anything like that. I just take the time of tuning it correctly, and I will let Fuego pop in on it in a second. But for instance, like my 6-channel setup, and I'm glad to see you hop in, Fuego. Good to see you, buddy. I tune all my separate channels individually too. So like, don't get me wrong. So I tune my kicks first. Got the kicks rocking. Unplug them back. I need to unplug them. Then I did my doors. Got them rocking. Then I did my tweeters. Obviously, it's kind of weird to tune the tweeters by themselves. I'm pretty much just going by the crossover, but got them going. Then I dialed them back in together, and then I started playing with the bandpass crossovers a little bit. Luckily, I have those on my amplifiers, but and then go from there. I didn't really ever get any crazy with it with the RTA and stuff like that. It's just me really just sitting there going between like 4 songs, and the slow songs really well, and you're like, all right, that's it.
Do you find yourself screwing around with the EQ or anything when you like shift genres of music?
Oh,
man. I don't touch my EQ.
It depends what system I'm on. I mean, every system can play it within reason, but to really get the most out of it, you damn well I am tweaking things here and there to get more out of it. And then by the end of the song, it's all good. And then I play another song, and then I got to do it all over again. It's like, okay, that's too heavy.
If I go from Metallica Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which is arguably the loudest studio recorded album in history, to Lacuna Coil, I find myself invariably trying to retune to get the fucking best sound because there's no magic bullet.
Hear me out, guys, and don't get me wrong. So I took a little bit out in like a 2,000 hertz range in mine because I have all those mid bass drivers. Other than that, I leave it alone. There's one thing that I had, and I'm still guilty sometimes. Leave it the fuck alone, okay? So like you'll be like, man, my system sounds like shit. Why does this song sound like shit? And then you're like, oh, it's this music sounds like shit. It's not the like some songs.
Yeah, you gotta
have
admit
a good
that
recording out there.
Just accept
I got that on my
like,
home stereo when
just
13
change
was
the song.
Yeah.
Well, when
change
13
the
was
device that you're listening to it on, just get away from it because if it sounded really good at one point in time, and now it sounds like shit. Go back to what you were listening to.
And it's sad. There's a lot of songs that are great songs that will just never have a good recording of them actually ever anywhere.
You're doing okay when you can differentiate like recording medium. When 13 was down here and I heard a hiss in Pink Floyd that I was playing off of fucking YouTube, I knew that hiss was driving me nuts. And he's kind of laughing at me. You can sort of see it at the end of that video where I was doing the demo because I was whispering in this fucking hiss is driving me nuts. So like the recording medium is like the ultimate decider of how we're going to attenuate to make it sound the best for us. And that's a real kick in the nuts sometimes because like I got the guys in the home audio hi-fi side that love vinyl. One subsonic pop on a turntable on my system, and my woofers are halfway across the room at 8 kilowatts. So, like, arguably, I can argue the fidelity of the recording is probably the most important decider of everything and how it's played back to us. That's why I'm not a big fan of streaming. I fucked around with Pandora in the beginning, and you guys have, assuming that you're like me and obsessive compulsive and never stop thinking, you've heard those tracks come across on streaming services that have that little bit of a digital artifact in them, and it fucking drives you nuts. You place it. It's like, that's the playback medium. Fuck you, asshole. I'm paying a premium here for good service, and this is what I get.
Okay, Baba, hear me out, bro. You can do the Gately GM Crew Cab box for 4 6.5 subs under seat. 4 6.5 full-size subs under your seat is going to get down, especially the Gately ones.
6.5 L7Xs, is that what you're saying? Is that what we need?
Maybe. It fits 4 6.5s, and it fits with no seat lift.
It depends on the kit the driver likes. I mean, Kicker is just as good as Sundown, depending on the implementation.
If it was me and it's a Gately underseat box and how affordable the Gately subs are, I would do the Gately subs in it because that's like, I mean, just me personally, they're not those 6.5 Relentless subs are not that expensive at all. Like those things sound amazing.
How much do they cost you? Like around like $150 a piece or something like that,
Well,
or
the box is
$200?
$1,200.
I know the
And,
boxes are expensive, yeah, but Bobby Gately, he does great stuff. So I
The
mean,
sub-
it's all custom for your truck too, specific. God,
Yeah.
I guess the alphas, and I can look on Sky High. They might be on Sky High, but the
That
alphas
was
are
my
out of
one
stock. But they,
Slamology man crush fail, meeting Gately.
oh no, the D4s. Yeah, you'd need
Aw.
D4 anyway. They're $200 a piece. I could probably.
That's
get
not
it-
bad.
If we bought 4,
I'd like to have a beer with Bobby Gately.
dude. And I don't want to brag on it too much. And then we gotta definitely get El Fuego in the conversation somehow here. But I gotta have dinner with him, and that was like an amazing experience. Which I hung out with him before at last year's Slam, but dude, we had Wagyu steak, and it came out of a fucking sizzling salt block. It was the nicest thing I ever had in my whole life, and it was yeah, dude. I was like, this is awesome.
I can't. I know I got to meet him just for a few seconds, and then I actually helped him out with Duncan's build, and I gave him that one idea I brought about just how to test that amp with the problem they had with tripping high voltage remote wire stuff, and it was like awesome for him to say that's a good idea. I was like, damn, okay, that's awesome. That made my day. Bobby Gately, he's been around since we seen him on the Unmasked show, and I got to hear about his history with Kicker and how they used to send him designs and years ago, and it's just crazy. It's crazy, man.
The interview was really good on Unmasked with Gately, and he's talking about how there's that one turning point where he's like, I know a lot about speaker box. I don't have to question what this manufacturer says or whatever. You know what I mean? When I met him last year at Slamology, I didn't even know who he was, which I already knew what Gately Audio was, but I just saw like a guy in a Slamology judge shirt, and I'm like, yo, bro, do you want a demo? He's like, I've got AC, and he's like, yeah, I want an AC demo. And then, but actually, I don't know if she's still in here. Melissa Hall was there, and she's like, I can't believe you just hung out with Bobby Gately, and I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, that guy that was in your truck right then was Bobby Gately and his brother or whatever. And I'm like, no way. But it's also cool when you meet those people and they're cool with you before you know who they are, they know who you are, or whatever.
I
That's awesome.
might tip my hat just a little bit, but oftentimes they say never meet your heroes. I was fortunate enough in my early ambitions to meet some of my heroes, and what I found is all of us that have that deep burning passion, that childlike enthusiasm when we see something that we love. It doesn't matter what your demographic or your audienceship is or who the hell admires you. At the end of the day, we all break bread the same. And it really doesn't matter. Like if I were to meet Steve, or hell, if I were to run into Andy or you and Scott, it'd be one of those we're on even terms. And everybody would have us think that these things make someone special. But nah, man, we're all after the same fucking thing. And that's the thing I think that bothered me the most about the hi-fi hoity-toity thing in
Yeah, that
audio.
Hi-Fi Mega guy's a dick.
Oh yeah, Rob,
Yeah.
he even looks like one. Rob,
Yeah.
calling you out, bud. No, I love
Come
you,
on,
brother.
man.
No, I'm just telling you, he knows I'm totally joking.
The guys I respect in audio are the outside the box thinkers. I don't care if you're a dealer. I don't care if you're affiliated with a certain company. I've been playing this fucking game long enough for my own satisfaction that I don't break myself like trying to compare myself to anybody else. I want to break bread with a motherfucker, sit down at the table and try and learn something.
Yeah.
And that's why I respect the hell out of guys like Andy and you, Scott. I wouldn't watch Rolling Thunder if I thought you were a dick or listen to what Robot Underground had to say in his little pedantic fucking rant.
I
So
don't know
that-
what's up with that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I like his woofers, and I respect that too. And see, I'll admit that.
There's nothing wrong with that. And it's funny, we had people all the time and they're like, oh, I don't like that guy. I'm like, it's fine. Like somebody doesn't like a friend of mine or anything like that, or somebody else, and they're like, oh, I don't like that guy. I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to, man. Like, me and him can be buddies, and you don't have to like each other. Like, and I don't have to get in between any of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Honor among men, right?
Yeah.
The internet.
What I'm called, I guess.
Where
I
would
feel
we
like I
be
should be
without it?
wearing a this guy shirt right now.
Yeah, a lot of people think Dave's a dick. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's like, look at him. He looks like a dick sometimes. You know what I mean?
No,
So like,
seriously.
yeah.
We got to bring El
took
You
my
gotta
Fuego.
bring Fuego in. Yeah, what are you doing, buddy?
Well, I got to tell you, I heard some. First of all, I don't have anything nearly as deep as what that some dude, not RGA, just went through. So, but I did hear some test bench talk earlier.
Love you
and
too, Fuego.
my ears were burning, pun intended. And I had a couple quick questions that pertain. one for you, Scott. I'm looking for. I've got my test bench set up, and I've been doing resistive load testing. I'm looking for a reactive load. What I'm really looking for is a nice musical dual voice coil like 12 that can handle somewhere around 1,500 watts. I don't really have the capacity right now to test an amp more than about 1,500 watts. Do you have any recommendations?
1,500 watts max. I mean, depending on what you wanted to spend. Like there's a lot of options really. Like in all reality, if you're just talking about testing for like short bursts, you could really realistically go with something that's really in the 800, 900,000 watt RMS range. But I mean, I've posted a sundown. I would do like an E10, E12. It's like an 800 watt RMS sub. You could cram 1,000 watts on 1,500 watts for a burst. They're cheap. That'd probably be something that's good. Or another recommendation, so there's probably the B2 subs. I like those. They have the inexpensive line that I like a whole lot. I mean, I don't know, just something that you get your hands on.
There's a whole plethora of options. If you really look as a scientist, Fuego, which I know you're at least affiliated with, if you look at the thermal efficiency rate of the coil, you have a lot of options available. And what I would do is I would test, and just see what fits the bill the best for the right PS parameters you're looking for, because basically a voice coil is nothing more than a fancy light bulb filament, and under the right conditions you can blow anything on anything really. Like I've blown 500 watt woofers with 5 watts. It kind of depends on the marriage of components and how everything wants to play well together.
Well, I mean, you probably want something that's out. I mean, like I said, it just depends on how much you want to spend with it, though, Bob. I mean, I'll wake up, and I mean, like, you have stuff that can do it. Like, what's up with? I mean, I guess it depends on the own load you want, though. Like those kickers that you want there. I mean, like you can wire those up at a different test bench.
I'm looking at.
Yeah, he could wire them kickers up at my test bench.
There you go. Sure.
Just saying.
Hey,
options.
The next quick thing I had was I took a couple days off next week. I'm going to set up my amplifier diagnostic bench, and I'm looking for like the ultimate soldering gun. I've got like 2 or 3 different ones. They all vary in quality, but does anybody have a recommendation on a nice higher end soldering gun that's not, it's not the thing you pick up at the hardware?
There's a Blue Point one. I mean, one second.
Keeping your tip clean is more important than what the soldering gun is. Having a good station variable with good temperature control, that's more important than what it says on the box. So, like, don't get wrapped up in that. I've used a lot of different soldering guns, from the Harbor Freight 180 watt to fucking you name it. It's more about how you treat your station and knowing how to solder in the first place than what it says on the box.
That one I got on freaking Amazon, dude, with the
it's kind of like
air
the one
gun
I've
on,
got.
or the air heat. Solder gun, temperature control. The thing heats up fast. It maintains heat. It's like on point, like pretty damn fast. It really wasn't that much. I think I want to say in like the $150 range.
See, I'm like super, which I mean, like I'm not an expert. I can't micro solder. I can't, don't have a lot of experience when it comes to doing stuff on PCB boards, stuff like that. But I get spoiled. Everything I have has been Snap-on. But I mean, like the M12 one though, Casey has that one, and it's also pretty tits. For if you're just carrying that thing around in solder in random places, that M12 gun's pretty tight.
Well, you're spoiled to a degree. Like if you tried to fuck with some of the microcircuitry, the surface mount shit,
it's too big.
Like that tip diameter and cleanliness is the most important. And trying to do anything surface mount, through hole's still the way to go, in my opinion, to get a good fucking connection, solid bite. Because until you've had a trace peel on you, like you don't know the struggle. That shit fucking blows. Because then you have to reconstruct.
Surface can be a pain in the ass. But, I mean, pretty much everything that you're playing with is surface mount, though. So, you just kind of deal with it.
Fuego, are you going to be documenting those tests or no?
Yeah, well, what I'm planning on is on a YouTube series called "Will It Work?" And so the concept is, I pull old school amps out of my collection, right, that haven't been tested or tested in years, and figure out will they work or won't they work.
It sounds
Dude,
like
I've
what
had
you used to
amps
do,
that-
Scott, with your
Huh?
cars. Isn't that what you used to do with your cars? Will it work?
Shooting.
Something like
Yeah,
that?
will it runs? Yeah.
Will it run? Yeah.
Yeah, where I buy those shitty cars that sat for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Are you
that's-
gonna,
It's good.
hey,
good,
hey,
Fuego.
Fuego, are you gonna catalog like duration, like are the filter caps, what percentage of capacitance they've lost over time? Like how far into that are you gonna go, bro?
The
I don't know about. I'm really not sure. You know, my skill set is, let's just call it underdeveloped.
that is like a
I'm
good.
really sure.
We should take in like Hyper Vegas, like El Fuego's giving us ideas. We just spend like $100 like on the shitty Facebook Marketplace crappy amp, and you just come straight and take it to the test bench, and then be like, "Will it dyno?" or some bullshit like that, and you just throw it right on and see if it throw a certified load on it or something.
Yeah, and assuming if it works, then I'll throw it on the dyno, right?
Yeah.
See what
No,
I
I'm
get
gonna
out
hook it straight. You just take it, don't even test it. You just take it straight home to the dyno. You just raw buy it. You know.
I've only had two not work from like the flea market, Goodwill.com stuff.
Like
Two out of like the
right.
15, 17 I bought. Only two didn't work, and I'm gonna get one repaired. The other one, MTX 300.1, really not worth it.
I figure I have over 20, probably maybe 30 to test. So
Woo! There
That'll
you
be
go,
good.
man. Just don't push him out like Hi-Fi Vector did. He was posting one like every 2 days. It was like too much.
I'm gonna mount a SAE V3 400.4 for my test bench. Like for me testing speakers, it's gonna be a Sunown SAE amp that got damaged packing, or like the box was damaged and it scratched the amp. So I'm just gonna take and use that as my test bench. And I'm figuring like if I get I can do 700 watts bridged on 2 channels on a 2 ohm load. That should be like most of the speakers I can play with and test. That should have most shit flexing, dude. Like even like a bigger sub. If you're putting 20 hertz on it, dude, you know what I mean? It's still
Yeah.
gonna be good at 700 watts.
Oh yeah.
I need some lithium for the test bench too.
I can get you 30 banks of 35 amp hour for relatively good pricing, shipped directly to you whenever you're ready.
Okay.
You just have to get hardware, but I can link up hardware with you also. The
There you
Ying
go.
one sale is going to be the easiest thing for you to do, bro.
Yeah,
That's
my
what,
biggest
you know,
issue,
Big Dean and those guys
power
do.
supply.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
voltage
Scott-
should those charge at? 15 volts or?
If you can charge at 15 and be fine, you'd also be fine at 14.8.
Okay.
It'd be nice if you had some overhead, Fuego, especially for like reciprocal fucking turnaround ratios if you wanted to crank a bunch out in one day, but within reason. Batteries are particular, especially chemical reactive ones.
Yep.
Whatever your charging system is, whatever you come up with for whatever that you have, if you have a regulated system, do that because, man, I've been playing around with some of the stuff that I've had, and I've had chargers that spike above that 15.2, and then your amps are automatically dropping in to protect.
Yep.
So
It
they're
will-
shutting off, and you're like thinking, are you serious? Like, I've got this thing fully charged. Well, hell yeah, you got it fully charged. And as soon as that damn amp starts drawing, especially on some of the bigger amps,
Well, you
anything
can
that
also exceed the chemical reactive capacity of whatever fucking battery you're using. It doesn't matter if it's LiPo, lithium ion, whatever. That's problematic too because you wind up burning the cell out, and then you have fucking surface voltage that reads correct, but your current availability fucking goes right in the toilet.
How can I see how many amps this thing does?
Exactly.
So this is literally just some old school power supply.
Well, how many?
that's got
Is there fuses on the outside? External fuse? I mean, the most you're going to get is 100, 110.
It's 110
just because.
volt AC.
Yep.
My,
Well,
the
100.
power
Yeah.
supply-
Yeah.
The power supply that I use on my bench came out of a boat.
Oh shit!
So when
Unless
they
it's
hook
unless
up-
it's
you come in
220.
and hook up, and it was, it's a 125 amp power supply. It's a nice.
It says it's 14.24 on this one volts.
Yeah.
It's probably set. It's probably set at 14.4. There's probably no potentiometer for voltage.
Oh, I'm not worried about doing that. I
Yeah.
just wonder if it's going to be. I think if I take, I've got like if I do a D3400, that if I do that power supply, a D3400, and an ultra cap.
Oh,
I
you'll
think
be
I should
fine.
do some- yeah, I think I should do
That's-
some tests.
That's how I started out with mine. That's how I started out with mine.
If I'm not pulling 100 amps, I think a fucking 3400 and a cap should be able to support it pretty good.
Ultra
You'll-
caps and electric
you'll-
shunt
yeah.
filter are really nice for that.
You'll have more than I had. The only time I ever seen it drop was whenever I started pulling more current than that power supply could handle, and that was very rare because I was only testing amps up to about 1,000 watts. So you'll be fine, especially with the super capacitors or capacitors that you got on the front of that. You'll be better voltage than I had when I ran that AGM. I would love to run that super capacitor up here with my lithium bank, but to be honest, that's going in with a quad box. I need electrical there, and it would be cool to prove, we can get away with clamping 3,000 some odd watts or 2,000 watts on a stock electrical system, stock, I guess, AGM battery, not really. But
You
still,
guys mind if I use an analogy here? If you look at the mega drought in the West, if you don't have enough supply in to supply the ultimate supply out, you're only on borrowed time. So
Yep.
having stability on the output side versus the input side, it's all a factor of energy displacement over time. And that's where caps are beneficial because they charge fast and they have a much higher rate of instantaneous discharge than like a chemical lead acid battery or a glass fiber battery is. But
right.
if you think about your energy differential in terms of output versus input, you want the happiest balance so that you maintain that constant charge and you have a good baseline to run off of. Otherwise, those peaks and the valleys will screw you.
Yep.
So like think of the Hoover Dam and the mega drought. You want to have everything in place pre whatever your end goal is. Otherwise, you're only screwing yourself in the long term. And that's where the super caps, the lithiums, the all of this stuff plays in. So to anybody new
Absolutely.
watching, that's the most important factor as far as this is concerned.
Absolutely.
It'll help at really any voltage, and it helps it more constant, harder to clip. But real quick though, I don't want to step on Andy's toes. You have a show coming up, and I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I was like, man, I didn't want to take him and come and step on that. Andy has a Living Loud with Andy show coming up next. I'm sure everyone that's in here probably will be skipping over to that. I didn't want to cut it short, but like we're over at his mark. And what time does your show go live? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, 15 minutes right on the
Yeah.
cue.
Rolling Thunder episode 50. Everyone that was in here, Fuego, I'm sorry, like I said, I got jumbled in conversation, my guy. But yeah, I appreciate you, Dave, and all the RGA and everyone else joining in. Andy, as always. And
We need to
you
bring
guys
him
have-
on next week. If we don't
I'm
have
down for
anything
that, Fuego.
planned.
If you'd like to join us next week, that'd be sick. Andy Knuckleheads. But Rolling Thunder episode 50. Everyone have a fantastic evening, and don't drink and drive. Be safe out there and enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th. Rolling Thunder
safe.
for the
Happy
win.
4th.